Hey everyone, good evening. Welcome back after the weekend for the reading sessions. I hope all of you are good doing. And let's start with today's practice test. So here you have your first question for reading writing blanks on the screen. Please take less than 2.5 minutes to post your answers in the chat box. And then we have a discussion. Please try that you are applying all the rules, the shortcuts, the strategies that we discuss, and try to participate as much as you can. And your time starts now. 2.5 minutes, and put your answers in the chat box, please. All right, should be done by now, and I can see some really good answers. Some of the mistakes are there. Please make sure that if your answer turns out to be wrong, you are noting the explanation, whatever is being given. So when the explanation is going on, please listen to each and every explanation, not just the ones which you have done right or wrong, because maybe the ones that you have done correct also get some shortcut to do that, which may be possible that you have taken a long time to solve that particular part. Okay, so let's look at the explanation for this. Harbin is the regional center of land, water, and air transport. A dash network of highways connects Harbin to neighboring cities. So if we don't read the blank, it says a network of highways connects Harbin to neighboring cities. It's completely fine. That means after the blank, we have noun. So we need to find an adjective that what kind of network it has. So if the sentence is complete, even without the blank, and after the blank, we have a noun, what we look for in the blank is an adjective. Anything that can describe the word written right after the blank. So any word that can describe what kind of network. I could see some of you writing a main network is not right because it has to be the main. If it is main, it will be only one. So if there are, let's say, 10 things and you said this is main, it will be the only one main. So you cannot have one main and two mains, right? So if you're writing main, it will be the main because there will be only one main. A main will mean like there's other mains also, which is not possible. A closely network, closely is an adverb, and what we need is an adjective. Crowded network, crowded is used when you have a lot of rush of people. So this is a crowded place. Crowded means a lot of people are there. That is how we use the word crowded. It's a crowded concert, that sense. We don't use it for network. And dense will be the right answer. Dense network is first of all a collocation. These two words go together. Second, dense means in which you have lots of parts closely connected to dense. So here it will be a dense network of highways because there will be more than one highway, a lot of highways which are connected to each other. So it will be a dense network of highways connects Harbin to neighboring cities and expressways. I'll just repeat. So a dense network will be the answer because dense means lot of highways and they are connected closely to each other. That is called dense. An expressway stretch northwest to the decking area and east to this winter skiing center. Major rail lines radiate dash the city south to this other place. So from and to again are the words which come together. So we'll say from this place to this place. Nothing to do with what the content is. You just have to understand what words are written together because these are reading writing blanks. So you need to understand the writing style in these blanks. Then they say the city is home to dash institutions of higher education. Big institutions, how do we know the institutions are big or small? We don't have the pictures with us, right? Infinite means something that cannot be counted, like there's like infinite stars in the sky. Numerous or many means the same. What is more academic is numerous. Many is a general word. So we'll go with numerous institutions of higher education. An annual winter festival dash an ice carving competition and is a popular tourist draw. So annual winter festival, singular, we need a verb with S, so we have features, which is fine. If we say is held, an annual winter festival is held, it's perfectly fine, but it does not match with the next part of the sentence. An annual winter festival is held an ice carving competition. Wrong grammar, doesn't make sense together. An annual winter festival included something which is annual, it will always include, like it is recurring after every year. So past tense cannot come. Included will mean it used to include, but if it is annual, it is happening every year. So past tense cannot come. And would again cannot come because it's annual means it's already happening. It's not that it will happen next year. So we'll go with an annual winter festival features. Features means includes an ice carving competition and is a popular tourist draw. Harbin also hosts a dash summer. So present, a music festival. All cannot come with singular. Summer is singular. Particular summer, we need host a music festival in a particular summer or in the particular summer. Any summer, wrong English again, means every summer. So these are the answers for this one. I'll go through it once again. Dense network is a combination of words. They are used together. Dense network means that so dense network is used when you want to say that it has lots of parts which are connected closely to each other. Second, because of two, it is from and to. Third and features, because it is simple present tense. Annual means it happens every year, so it should be in simple present tense. And the last one, every summer or each summer. All cannot come with singular, and any summer doesn't make sense because it's annual, so it will be every summer. I'm fixing that. Any confusions, anyone? Yes, Raj, I'm just fixing it. Maybe it will take a minute or so. Any doubts in this particular question, anybody? So better academic words are those which are lesser used in verbal language and which are more used in academic language, which is in novels, in books. Those words are known as better academic word. Basically, if you use something in daily life, that is less academic. And if you use that word more in books, in textbooks, in novels, that word is called more academic word. So fourth one should be in simple present tense, Sahil, because it is something which is happening annually. If you put is held, because is held is also present tense, it does not match with the second part of the sentence after the blank. And included and would cannot come because it has to be present tense and both of them are past and future. Right? Anybody else? Why not through? Because of to, Gurneet, through doesn't come with to. So it is from and to that go together, not through and to. And through is when you cross something, you pass by something, then we use the word through, like through the tunnel. So you're crossing the tunnel and going out. That is through. From one place to another cannot be through because you're talking about destinations, the endings at two places, not the thing that you're passing along. Okay. All right. So the second question, I look into the internet by that time. Two and a half minutes for this. Hence is used when you conclude. Here we were not concluding, we were rather making a comparison. Despite means even after, like despite taking the medicine, I did not feel better. Even after taking the medicine, I did not feel better. That is even after, despite. There's a bit of fluctuation in the internet connection today. I'm trying to resolve. Well, let's see how it goes. Pain is the most dash of all symptoms and often requires treatment. So the answers I've got is greatest and common. Greatest is already third form. The words which are already in third forms, they cannot come with most. So most comes with when you don't change the form of the verb, like most great. If it is greatest, it is already same. It is already third form. So make it a point if you don't know it, that with more and most, the form of verb does not change. So greatest should be rather the first elimination that you should be doing, because you already have most means the word will remain the same. No ER, no EST, no IEST will come here. So pain is the most familiar. Familiar is known, known of all symptoms. Common, you understand, regular. So pain is not regular, but it is a common symptom, like you have headache, stomach ache, muscle pain. So a lot of pains, very common symptom in case of if you are not well. Pain is both an emotional and a physical dash. So what is it? Pain is an incident, encounter, event, or experience. And all of you are correct in this. Pain is an experience and is difficult to compare from one person to another. One patient may have a high pain threshold and complain only after the disease process has progressed dash its early stage. So high pain threshold means limit. So person has high pain limit means if it's normal pain or very less or medium pain, that person does not complain. But he or she complains only after it has progressed dash its early stage means more than early stage. So it will be beyond, because for stages, we do use the word beyond. Beyond this stage, the level will be difficult. So we use the word beyond with stages. Not above, because that is used with height. Behind means at the back of, and after means next thing. So here we are saying it will go above, but not in a height sense. Go beyond, that is why is beyond the answer. Acute pain serves a useful function as a dash mechanism that leads to the removal of the source of the pain. So if acute pain, acute means short term pain if you have. It's a useful function as a prevention mechanism. So if pain is there means the disease or the problem is already there. Now you cannot prevent it. Prevention means when you can avoid suffering from that problem. But if pain is there means you're already suffering. So prevention cannot happen now. Careful mechanism, protective or preserving. Preserving we don't use in medical sense anytime. It will be protective because it can protect you by removing the source of the pain, by whether it can be due to injury or infection. Chronic pain serves less useful function and is often more difficult to treat. Although acute pain dash immediate attention, its cause is usually easily found. So acute, this is a fact, right? So facts are always given in simple present tenses. So acute pain, singular, we need a verb with S. Acute pain requires simple present tense, is requiring is continuous, has is perfect, and will is future. And as I said, facts, some things which are true always, not today, tomorrow, yesterday, they are given in simple present tenses. Acute pain requires immediate attention. Its cause is usually easily found. Dash chronic pain complaints may be more vague and difficult to isolate. So there were two different types of pains we were talking about. One is acute and one is chronic. And we were making comparison. The first one is easy to find. Next one is difficult. So what is the conjunction that we use when we make comparisons between two things like acute and chronic? One is easy, one is difficult. It is whereas. So always when you make direct comparisons in terms of opposites, you use whereas in that case. And as I already explained the meaning of despite, it's even after. So you cannot say that acute pain solves the problem even after chronic pain does not, because they are not linked to each other. Those are two different things. And thus and hence are used when you're making a conclusion, but we were making a comparison, not a conclusion. So it will be whereas in this case. Any doubts, anyone? Very good, Raj. No confusions with anybody? Yes, Swapna, you can please put your doubt in the chat box. All right, and I hope the connection was better too. Concluding sentences like when you, let's say you were encounter, okay, concluding sentences is when you are, let's say you were talking about criminal activities. So criminal activities have disadvantages like this. Hence, they should be banned. So when you give a conclusion of the discussion, so that is, those are called concluding sentences, right? So concluding sentences we use then, hence or thus. Sorry, I combined them both. Encounter is like face-to-face interaction, like in the jungle I encountered a lion, something like that. Encounter is like face-to-face, coming face-to-face with a person. My encounter with the honeybees was not a pleasant one. So that's how we use the word encounter, facing something. Okay, thank you. And let's move ahead to question number 3. 2.5 minutes for this. Please put your answers in the chat. All right, should be done. Silly mistake, silly. Okay, the first one says Spanish speaking people dash in what is now the United States. Spanish speaking people, and your writing has been living. Is it possible to put has with plural? And I think people is a plural word. Guys, don't ever mess or miss to check singular, plural, positive, negative, tenses. Most of your blanks will be solved by this. Now, what you need to understand from the exam's point of view is we never say that 100% of the blanks are grammar based, but 60% of the blanks are grammar based. And what we want you to do is time saving in those 60% so that the remaining 40%, which are context based, you can actually read them once, twice, understand, and then get the answer. But if you will not save time in those 60% blanks, then do you think you have this much time to understand each and every blank contextually and solve it? It will become very difficult in the exam. Don't miss silly checks that are like singular, plural, positive, negative, what tense the sentence is talking about. Like here, there were two clear hints. One is Spanish speaking people. People is plural, so we cannot put has with it. Second, we are in present tense, so you don't need past and future tense here. So only two things and you get your answer. Spanish speaking people have lived in what is now the United States dash before the country's founding. Till before, till is the last, till is used when you want to give the ending limit of something, not the beginning of something. So till 5 p.m. means we'll close at 5 p.m. So ending limit comes after till. Up to is again ending. Like this exam will go on for up to 2 hours. Up to means that's the maximum. It will be somewhere below 2 hours or maximum 2 hours. That is again ending limit. Since is used when you want to mention the starting period of something, like since 1991, since the Industrial Revolution, means from that time till now, that is since. And as long as, I'm happy that nobody has written as long as, because that doesn't make any sense here. So the answer here was since. They said Spanish speaking people have lived in the US. Let's eliminate the unimportant words. So these people have lived in the US since before the country's founding. From when have they lived here? They have lived here from even before the country was founded. From that time they have been living here. So try to convert, if it is like bit complex, try to convert it into a story. Like what are they talking about? So they have lived obviously means that they are living from a period of time. And before the country's founding cannot be the end. It will be the starting, that even when the country was not there, they are living from that time. So it will be from the starting of that time. And since it's from the starting of. Next was the teaching of US history dash the founding and growth of the American colonies. So here, whenever you have ly words before or after blank, you can always eliminate them to get your answer, because you should shortlist, shortcut, whatever you can. So here they say the teaching of US history dash the founding. What is our noun? Teaching. So whenever you are confused, the word written before of is your noun always. So don't think like history is your noun or normally is your noun or US is the noun. No, your noun is teaching. The word written before of is always the noun of the sentence with respect to which you have to find the verb. So the teaching of US history normally, now anything which is in normally will be in present tense because it's a fact. Normally the sun rises at 8:40. So it's normally means it has to be written in present tense. So the teaching of US history normally talks the founding. Teaching cannot talk. Emphasizes, insisted is past tense, indicate is without s. Because our noun is singular, we need a verb with S. So it will be emphasizes. The teaching normally emphasizes the founding and growth of the American colonies, their emergence as an independent nation in 1776, and the development of the US from east to west. That treatment often omits the fact that there was significant colonization by Spain of what is now called the Indies. It also ignore that the whole Southwest was once a Spanish-speaking territory. It also likely to, wrong English with likely to, you should always have helping verb. It is likely to happen. It was likely to happen. Without is, was, are, you cannot put likely to. So likely to cannot come here. It also seeming to. Again, for seeming to, it is seeming to happen that way. We need helping verb, which we don't have. It also tends to ignore, makes sense. Keeps on comes with ing. Like it keeps on ringing. We need ing. You cannot say ignore. So it keeps on ignoring. That is how we use the word keeps on. So it will be, it also tends to ignore that whole Southwest was once a Spanish-speaking territory with its own heritage, culture, and customs. So with its own means with its own distinctive, with its own different, alone, original. So they're not talking about original or copied or original or duplicate here. Alone, a country having its culture, we never say it's alone its culture. We never use the word alone with country's culture. Different and distinctive have very slight difference. Different is used like you can say, I have different types of shoes. So different is always used when you have different kinds of something, like different species, different kinds of something, then you say different. Distinctive means something which is different from others. So here we say its own culture. So own culture will definitely be different from the other cultures. So it will be distinctive culture, heritage, and customs. Okay. These are the answers. I'll go through it once again. Have lived because they wanted to talk about starting off. They people is plural, so we cannot say has. The sentence is in present tense, so past and future cannot come there. So the only option we have is people have lived in the US before the country's founding. Now, before the country's founding means even when the country was not founded, they are living there. So it will be from the starting of that time, right? Not this cannot be the ending of the time. So till is used when you mention the ending of something, like you have to complete this assignment till 5 p.m. So that is the closing time. So closing things come with till, and since come with starting of some time period. Like since before the country's founding. Since means from that time, and what is that time? Before the country's founding. So that is how since and before are coming together here. Maybe that's why you're confused, but it's easy. Like they are living there from the time even when the country was not founded. So since is used in that sense, from that time. Teaching normally is in present tense, so it will be teaching emphasizes normally on these things. Then it also ignore, as I said, likely to cannot come without helping verbs. It is likely to happen, it was, or they were likely to come without helping verbs. Likely to cannot be used. So it will be, it also tends to ignore, means happens to ignore. And with its own distinctive means different from others. It had its own different kind of heritage culture, but different is used when you're talking about kinds of something. Here we are not talking about kinds, we are saying its own, something which is not same like others. It will be distinctive. Is it fine now? Yes, likely to generally is used with future, like something is when you have kind of probability of something to happen, then we use likely to. But can be used in past also, if you can say it was likely the case, or it was likely to happen. So in the past, something you were expecting, then also you can say likely to in past tense. All right, all good with this one, everybody? Any more questions? Uh-oh. What did you do in reading Faraz? I was not expecting this. That's why you didn't get the score. You were missing me there. You should have focused on the exam. Okay, we'll discuss this in detail after the class. Don't worry, we'll find out whatever was the problem and we'll work on it. Okay, solve this next question. You should be the first one to answer. 2.5 minutes and question number 4 on your screens. Okay, should be done by now. Good, good, neat, good attempt. Okay, let's discuss the answers. Please be careful about the words written before and after the blank because they can help you to match which of your options match with the word written next. For example, in the first one, they say measured in dash of its members, teaching is the world's largest profession. So in terms of is a collocation. In terms of means in this particular area. If we measure according to members, so that is in terms of members, according to or on the basis of or in this particular field. So that is called in terms of. It cannot be in unit of, in reference of, or in period of. No, we are saying teaching is the world's largest profession. How are we saying this? We are saying this just looking at the members and how many people are there in this profession. So that is in terms of members. This is the largest, not in terms of money, not in terms of profit, not in terms of like these are the bases, which can be different bases in terms of can be used with that. So in this particular basis, that is in terms of members, it is the largest profession. In the 21st century, it was estimated that there were about 80 million teachers throughout the world. Dash their roles and functions vary from country to country. The variations among teachers are generally dash within a country than they are between countries. So a long sentence, we first need to segregate the information that what do we need as the answer. When the first word is a blank and we need to get a connector and we have a comma in the sentence, there are two parts in the sentence. We first need to understand what is the relationship between those two parts. If we look at the options, it is though, nonetheless, still, along with. Nonetheless or however or nevertheless, they three are used in the same context. When you want to establish a link of this sentence where you have the blank with the previous sentence and you will have a comma after the blank, which we don't have here. So nonetheless, nevertheless, however are used when you are making a comparison of the current sentence with the previous sentence, and there should be a comma. So nevertheless cannot or nonetheless cannot come here. Now, what is the relationship between the same sentence? They say their roles and variations vary from country to country. Australia has different functions of a teacher. India has different, New Zealand has different. The variations among teachers are generally dash within a country. So within Australia also the variations are something than between countries. So this was the sentence is. So what we have is still is used when you want to say something happened and it still continues, like it is still raining, it started and still happening, still continuing. That is the use of still. Along with is when you say like please bring me a glass of water along with food, like two things together, that is along with. Here it will be though there are variations between countries, at the same time there are variations within the country also. So though means yes, this is a fact, but also there's another fact related. So though the roles and functions vary in different countries from country to country, the variations are generally dash than. When you have than, you always use V2, second form of verb. And if we look at the options, we only have one second form. Highest is third form, greater is second, given is not form of verb, much is also not a form of verb. So it will be greater, because we have than and we needed V2. So this says that although the roles and functions vary from country to country, the variations are greater within country. So that's the contrast in between the sentence, that yes, there are variations, but even greater variations are between the countries, within the countries, not between the countries. And then they say elementary school teachers are dashed the most numerous worldwide. So they are making a very huge comparison that worldwide, the most number of teachers are primary school teachers. So primary school teachers are the most numerous worldwide. The sentence is complete. So we only need to add a kind of adverb to further add to this sentence. Are assuredly is like giving guarantee of something. Are easily, are they talking about something easy or difficult? No. Decidedly or by far. So by far means when you compare a lot of things and you say that with a big margin this thing is at the top, then you say by far. It said this is by far the easiest question I have done. By far means like no other question is even near to this easiness. That is by far. So when you have something at the top with a lot of margin from the other things, then it is called by far. So elementary school teachers are by far the most numerous worldwide, dash nearly half of all teachers in some developed countries. Framing nearly half, can we frame teachers? No. Making up nearly. So making up is used when you give the proportion next, when you have proportion written next to, then we can use make up, like this makes up 20% of the total question. So making up is used when you have proportions, like here we have the proportion nearly half and nearly 3/4. So we have given the proportion. So we'll say this, they are the most numerous teachers. And what is the proportion? Nearly half of all the teachers in some developed countries and 3/4 or more in developing countries. Right? So I'll repeat the answers. The first one is in terms of, which is a kind of collocation. Though their roles, though means like when you want to say that, yes, this is a fact, but there is a secondary fact as well in between. So we say though their roles and functions vary, but there are, so but is the comma there, but the greater variations are within countries. So there's a contrast of between countries or within countries, and you say though there are variations between countries, but greater variations are within countries. So in that sense, though comes there. And then third is by far, because the sentence was complete, we just needed to add something kind of an adverb. That elementary school teachers are the most numerous worldwide was a very big statement. We say by far because then they gave that. Why are we saying they are by far? Because it is like nearly half of all the teachers in developed countries we just have in elementary school teachers, which is a big margin. That is why by far came there. 3/4 or more in developing countries. So let's say all the developing countries and 3/4 of the teachers, that's the same proportion that we have only in elementary school. So how big is the number? So that's why it is by far. And the last one is making up, because we are giving the proportion. Right? Sahil Kamalveer, is it fine? Guys, please keep your videos off if by any chance somebody's video is on, because thank you. Anything else if I have missed? If use adjective for the sentence is complete so far is not adjective. Yes, who's this? Faiza, that's what I said. So the sentence is complete. That is why there's something additional information that we need to add that just tells us that it should be like kind of an how should I say, adjective? Can say adjective or adverb, but actually it's just additional information because of the second part of information. Based on that information, that word comes there. The sentence is complete, but because of the information that the number is very huge. And how do we know? Based on the facts that they have given, like 3/4 of all, half of all. Based on that, we selected by far because it's a very big difference. No, Chandni, if even if we would have a comma after the blank, see, it's not possible to put a comma in this blank because the sentence has a contrast within it, not with the previous one. So I explained you two things. One is however, nevertheless comes when you have a comma after the blank. That's one thing. Second check is that sentence should make a contrast with the previous sentence, which is not the case here. So this sentence has contrast within it itself, not with the previous one. So both of the things are not satisfied. So we cannot put however or nonetheless. right? Yes, Tejal, I think you're also asking the same. For however, there has to be a comma after the blank. Sometimes, however, also comes in a running sentence. So then you have a comma both before and after that. If it comes like in between a sentence, it should be both before and after. All good? Okay, question number 5 on the screen and 2.5 minutes. And there can be both the ways. It can be after a full stop as the first word of the next sentence, or it can be in between a running sentence with two commas, both before and after. But the other check remains the same, that if in any way, however, is there, it should be a contrast with the previous sentence. Okay. All right, 2.5 minutes. Question number 5. Gurneet, are you checking whether you need a singular noun or a plural, sorry, singular verb or a plural verb? Very, very silly mistake. You can do this in the exam as well. There can be 3 to 4 blanks just on this one rule. And if you are missing it at one place, means you can miss it at 3, 4 places. From the thrill of hearing an ice cream truck approaching to the spikes of pleasure while sipping a fine wine, the neurological messenger dash dopamine has been popularly described as the brain's feel-good chemical. The neurological messenger, and all of you are right in selecting known as, because all the other words don't have any referred, comes with referred to or referred as, identified as cannot be completed. And known for is when you mention like this place is known for its beauty. Here we have what is it called, not known for what. So it will be the messenger, which is known as dopamine, has been popularly described as the brain's feel good chemical, dash to reward and pleasure. So we are talking about a chemical, dash to reward and pleasure. Reward and pleasure are feelings. So a chemical which is coupled to feelings, similar to chemical cannot be same as feelings. Comparable, can we compare a chemical to feelings? No. Related to means when we have these feelings, this chemical is produced in our body. So that is related to happiness. This chemical is produced by our body. A ubiquitous neurotransmitter that carries signals between brain cells, dopamine, is involved in multiple aspects of dash processing. So whenever we talk about brain, what is the term? Cognitive, emotional, subconscious, experimental. It is always cognitive processing. Anything related to brain is cognitive processing. The chemical messenger has been extensively studied from the perspective of external cues or signals. Instead, University of this researchers recently dashed. Now I said don't read ly just to check that what is the verb that you need. Researchers is plural. Researchers cannot come with embarks. That was the first thing you should be eliminating. Because your noun is plural, you cannot have a verb with s. Second, recently is what does recently means? Past tense, right? Just before. So if you are ever doubtful, you can always create a sentence with recently, like I recently went to a concert. You won't say I recently go to a concert. Very simple sentences do clarify a lot of big doubts that you can have in the exam. So always do this. Frame a sentence quickly with the sentence and clarify what tense do you need. So researchers recently, we need past tense here. So ing is also eliminated. Set out and started. I can see a lot of you, many of you writing started because I think set out, you don't know that set out is also past. The past form of set is also set. Have you heard the word setted? So it was set out, which also means started. It is a better way of saying started, and it is also past tense. Present tense is also set out. Past tense is also set out. So we'll go with set out because it is more academic. So researchers set out to investigate less understood dash related to impulses of dopamine. Less understood. Now, some of you have written methods. Don't we use methods of something? And how do we know? See, less understood methods related to impulses of dopamine. How do you know they want to know the methods of something? Methods or ways, and generally methods and ways come with of, methods of something, ways of doing something. So it will be less understood aspects, means just less understood things, the things that we don't know about dopamine, they wanted to know more about that. So that is aspects. No, Ritu. So I said in some of the sentences where you have, if you are confused, like this is very easy. Who set out? When you say university set out to investigate, no, the work is done by the researchers. That only happens if you are confused that what is the noun, who is doing the work. But here it is easy. Who will do the work? University won't do. Researchers will investigate the thing. So it will be for researchers, not for university. And for university, you'll always say the University of Technology. That doesn't mean you will stop at university. That's the way we write down the names of universities, right? Grammar rule in fourth one is the same that I said. Researchers is plural, so we needed a verb without s if we are in present tense, but we needed a verb with past tense, and started and set out are both past. Set out is a better form of saying started. That's why it is set out. Is it fine now, Faiza and Gajendra? Cognitive is everything which is related to brain is called cognitive. So Ritu, we needed past tense in fourth one. We had two past options, started and set out. So set out is a better form of saying started, more academic. So that's why we have selected that. So aspects can be, Gagan, anything about a particular concept. Like what are the aspects of photosynthesis means all the things, positive, negatives, advantage, disadvantage, the process. So everything can be called an aspect, anything which is related to it. So here we don't know that they were talking about methods of doing something, because as I said, methods generally come with methods of something or ways of something. Otherwise, in the whole of the passage, they haven't talked about that they wanted to know any method, so we cannot go with that. Yes, set out is same for present. The past tense of set, present tense is also set, past tense is also set. All good. Any other doubts, anyone? Second is, so there's a chemical and there is a feeling, pleasure. So can we say a chemical is comparable to feeling, or a chemical is similar to feeling? Chemical is like, think of a chemical in a test tube. Chemical and your feeling of happiness, they cannot be compared, they cannot be similar, they cannot be coupled. But a chemical in our body can definitely be related to a feeling. So when we are happy, this chemical is produced by the body. When we are sad, this chemical is produced by the body. That's the second one. And fifth one is they wanted to investigate the lesser known facts about this chemical. So facts can be aspects, but facts cannot be methods or ways, because methods and ways come with methods of something or ways of something. And moreover, the context did not hint anywhere that they were talking about methods or ways of anything. So we'll say they wanted to investigate, researchers wanted to know more about this chemical. So more aspects, more facts, more things about it. So it will be aspects. All good? Okay, so we are moving on to reorders, and here is your first question for reorders, and you have 2 minutes for this. Please post your answers in 2 minutes. D is not the first one. Why are we putting D as the first one? The patient's visit. Where is the patient visiting? Park, hospital, clinic. It was not complete because visit can be anywhere. So they say one of the first conditions to be considered is the patient's reason for seeking medical advice and the patient's expectation. But this is one of the first conditions. There can be general sentence before this as well. So they one of the conditions is this, that what is a patient's reason for seeking medical advice and the patient's expectations. Once the physician makes a diagnosis and identifies the most likely cause of the symptoms and decides on the appropriate treatment, an entirely new set of conditions becomes operative. So here they say that once the physician makes a diagnosis or identifies the cause of symptoms, then new conditions, then there is a new set of things that he or she has to do. If tests can rule out this possibility, so you have to find out which possibility are they talking about here. Reassurance may serve as a therapeutic action. And we have to find out which possibility. The patient's visit may have been precipitated by the feeling that a minor symptom may be something serious. So this is the patient's visit may be because of this reason, that the person thinks something minor is it, but it actually the person thinks it's something very major. So now out of A and D first, tell me which is more broader. Patient's reason for seeking medical advice is broader, or one of the reasons that person may think that this is something serious is broader. A is broader, right? D is very, very narrow, that a person is thinking wrong. That's why he has come to the hospital or something. The first sentence was B. You first mention that the physician makes a diagnosis and identifies the cause of symptoms, and there are new set. And what are those things? First of all, one of the conditions is that he or she should know that why the patient was here and what are the patient's expectations. Then he will like give the medicine or admit or whatever. And then you say a person's reason for seeking medical advice, and then you say the reason can be the patient's visit may have been by the feeling that a minor symptom may be something serious. Because let's say a patient comes shouting like, I'm very serious, I'm very serious, you won't straight away admit that person, because that can just be a feeling. You will first diagnose, identify, and then you will decide. And what are the things you will diagnose? First condition is, why is the patient here? And because it may be just a feeling that the person is here. If tests can rule out this possibility, this means this possibility that something serious is there. If the tests declare that there is nothing serious, then you just reassure that person that nothing is serious, go home, you are fine. So reassurance may serve as a therapeutic action. So this was the order B, A, D, C. Very good, Dikshya. Anybody else with all correct? There were many I saw. Any doubts, anyone? Good, 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 very good. Very nice. So here you have the next question on the screen. Identifying first one difficult, sometimes it is, but try to see whatever you are thinking to be the first one, try to make a continuous story after that. It does not always happen that you get a complete story. You don't actually think from the story's perspective. Just look at the sentence, then you select the first one. According to me, this is second one. But sometimes when you select all your sentences, then try to make a story. That can also be a hint that no, this is not working. Like two things are happening, then third thing is like something completely different. So try to make a continuous story. That also helps. Okay, question number 2, 2 minutes for this and post your answers. Very good. 2002, then 2000, 2010, then 2007. Nice order. Is there anything called chronology? And sometimes in easy questions, you try to complex yourself. Why? This was completely based on year after year, what is happening. Putting C after D is very wrong. See, that is 2002. You have 2000 also, you have 2007 also, and you want to put something in between. At least go for like one side, 2001, then start coming back, or 2000 and then start going above. But in between, now everybody will understand. And I'll come in the exam to say you this, and then you will change your answer, no? So the first one was D, because here you come to know that what is this term Hispanics, otherwise we don't know it. So they are fastest growing ethnic minorities in the US. So we come to know that this is a group of people. We are talking about one particular ethnic group in the US. So that is why it is the first one. And then you start from the time period, the lowest one, more than half of the increase in the country. The country is US. You already mentioned it. In the country's total population from 2000 to 2010 was due to the growth in the Hispanic population alone. Then this 2000 to 2010 is a time period, not one particular year. So that's why that period will come after that. The growth rate of the number of Hispanics during that period. We don't have any other period given. 1 year mentioning of 2002, mentioning of 2007 cannot be a period. Period is starting to ending. You have 3-4 years in between. So that period refer to these 10 years. And then you talk about 2002, and then you talk about 2007. What was difficult in this? Any confusion, anybody? Don't do these mistakes. Yeah, they're easy questions. Don't do overthinking in the exam also. Okay, we have one more question for the orders. 2 minutes for this. Post your answers and read it properly. No. D is not the first one. Okay, what is, see, they say the lack of random assignment. Which assignment? Random assignment is not a thing. It's just a work that you are doing. And why are you doing this work of random assignment? The topic was given in very good, Kamalveer. It was given in C. The topic is natural experiments, not a random assignment. Random assignment is a way of doing things. So this says, like you randomly assign something, that is random assignment. Because natural experiments do not randomize participants into exposure groups, assumptions and analytical techniques customarily applied to experimental designs are not valid for them. So it's not about understanding what they're saying. You just shortlist the words and try to make a sense out of it. Like, because natural experiments do not do something, the assumptions applied to experimental designs are not valid for them. So we are talking about natural experiments, they do not have something, and the assumptions of experiments not apply to them. Rather, natural experiments are. So this is because we said they are not this. Now let's say rather means instead, what they are, the opposite of something. So you'll say they are not this, rather they are quasi experiments. So makes sense. We introduce natural experiments, they are not this, instead they are that. And then for this reason, so we have to find out a reason first. This is not a reason, this was a definition kind of thing. So we'll say the lack of random assignment because it's negative, right? So this can be the reason. The lack of random assignment means multiple threats too. So all these are negative things because these are threats. May influence observed study outcome. So this can influence the study, means it can affect the study. And for this reason, natural experiments will never determine causation in a given situation. So will never determine means obviously they cannot find out obviously because there are certain difficulties. Such something is negative, that is why they cannot work. So these are the threats, and because of these threats they cannot find out the solution. So only go with the words which you understand. And as I said, try to make a story out of those understandable words, because you have to be prepared for these kind of questions in the exam where you won't really understand the context, right? If you do, it's very good. But what if we don't? And we should be having a backup. And that's why I tell you that try to solve all the questions with the same way, so that easy or difficult doesn't matter to us. Our method remains the same. So language or the meanings, they don't really matter. So try to highlight only easy words and create a story out of them. Something like, okay, this is negative, so I need a negative sentence before that. And what is the use of rather? Rather is when you give the opposite. So these are not that, rather these are they, others. So just try to frame sentences like, when do I use rather, and when do we can use a negative sentence generally, and put the same theories there, right? Yes, bit tricky one, but tricky only because the language is tough. And we have to be prepared for this also. You can have tricky languages in the exam as well. All right. Anyhow, let's hope you have learned something in reorders. First question for reading blanks, and try to solve it in 2 minutes if you can. Very good. All of you have done it well, so we'll quickly discuss. Social inequality refers to relational processes in society that have the effect of dash or harming. So they have used ing, we'll also go with ing. And what is it? Harming a group's social status, social class, or social circle. We have two options in ing. We cannot stop somebody's social status. We cannot stop somebody's social class or social circle, but we can definitely limit somebody's circle by not allowing that person to not giving enough rights so that they can interact with someone, or they can, like they mention, like not giving voting rights. So you are limiting their position, their social status. Freedom of speech, assembly, the extent of property rights, and dash to education, healthcare. So we generally say access. Access means their reach, whether they are allowed for education or healthcare or not. Dash that it can also be seen in the quality of family and neighborhood life, occupation, job satisfaction. So we are including an apart from, and we all know that apart from that is a proper connector. So we should go with that, whereas including that is not any connector. So we'll say apart from that, it can also be seen in these areas. If these economic divisions harden, they dash lead to social inequality. A simple sentence saying they can lead to, because can is used when you want to say possibility of something. So they can lead to social inequality. The reasons for social inequality can vary, but are often broad and dash. Something that matches with broad, far reaching. Because far reaching also means that it is not limited, it is very, very broad in sense. That is far reaching. Any doubts, anybody? All good with this one? Usage. Where is usage? Swapna, the usage of what? Sorry. We can use similar words between and. Yes, like similar can be on different bases. Like if one is an activity, other should also be an activity. If one is a noun, other should also be a noun. In that sense, similar. What does far? Far reaching means something which has a huge impact, huge in the sense of a huge number of people are impacted, or a large number of area is impacted. That is far reaching. So something which does not have a small impact, that is called far reaching. Okay. Yeah, so the first answer is Ritu, limiting. The second one is access. Third is apart from, because of that, apart from that is a collocation, is a connector. They can lead to, just to complete the sentence. And the last one is far reaching. I hope it helps. And you have question number 2 on the screens with 2 minutes with you. Please post your answers within that time. No worries. Not mostly. See, when you say mostly, you want to say more than 50%. Like 70% of something is mostly, 80% of something is mostly. How do you know how much of the ocean was patchy? You can just say increasingly, means more and more of it was getting patchy. Most would be that you know more than 50% of it. So be careful while selecting such options. Many whales take long journeys each year, spending summers feeding in cold waters and moving to warm tropical waters to breed. One theory suggests that these long distance migrations, dash around 5 million years ago, started. Anything that matches with started is originated. When ocean productivity became patchy, the sentence is complete and we need an adverb, how much patchy it was. Like I explained, increasingly or mostly were the two options with adverbs. Mostly goes with like more than 50%, but we don't know how much of the ocean. We can just say increasingly it was becoming patchy. It became increasingly patchy, but patterns of ancient whale migrations have dash recently been shrouded in mystery. So until recently is a collocation. We have till now used it in a number of sentences now, and you should mark it that until recently is a collocation. Until recently means till a few days, a few months back. Till this recent time, it was done in a different way. Scientists approach this question with an dash technique, any adjective that can describe technique with A, E, I, O, U. And we had only one option. Even if we don't know the meaning, you could have straight away gone with ingenious, because at least it is a word that can describe a technique out of the other options available. Ingenious otherwise means creative. Could have guessed from genius. Barnacles are crustaceans that live stuck in one place in a hard shell. Most glue dash two rocks. So most means they are plural. So we cannot say oneself. Oneself will be for singular. So we'll say they glue themselves to rocks. Right? Any questions? Anybody? Last one, they glue dash two rocks. So they glue themselves because they said they live stuck in one plane. So they are glued to rocks. They glue themselves. So most will be plural. So that's why themselves. First one, what else do we have in the first one? Migrations dash around 5 million years ago. What else can we put in first one? Sorry, I didn't look at the options. We are only left with original, oneself, and prior to. Prior to means before. And prior to cannot go with around. Prior to around 5 million years ago is already there. How can we say prior to? Ago already means like before. So originated 5 million years ago. When ocean productivity became patchy, we needed ly, but mostly patchy is based on information that 70 mostly means more than 50%. How do we know how much of the ocean was patchy? So we cannot answer mostly. That's why we can just say increasingly patchy. For verb with past, yes, because it happened 5 million years ago. So obviously it has to be past tense, like this thing started 5 million years ago. Okay. What if something happens like 5 million years before, like 5 million years in the past, it has to be past tense. Gurcharan, are you fine with second? Third one, until recently, please note it down. It's a collocation. These two words come together a lot of times. Until recently means till this recent time period. It's known as until recently. Means until till recent time, it was a mystery. But now scientists have started to get the or find the answer to this question. That is until recently. Second one is increasingly. Amritpal, I said we have two options with ly. Mostly means more than 50%. How do you know that more than 50% of the ocean was becoming patchy? It is based on information. We cannot put answers which are based on information. So we can just say it became increasingly, means more and more patchiness came. We can never say it was 70% or 80%, whereas mostly will mean out of 100, most of it, right? So go with the meanings of like most means what, then select it. Okay, question number 3 and 2 minutes for this. Okay, good enough. Let's check the answers. This says, accounting for all possible permutations, we consistently found that dash coffee consumption was significantly associated with reduced brain volume. And all of you have done correct. Higher means the more coffee we consume, our brain size gets reduced. Essentially, drinking more than 6 cups of coffee a day may be putting you at dash of brain diseases, so at risk of brain diseases. If it would have been in dash of, so we will go with in danger of. That's the difference between danger and risk. Risk comes with at and danger comes with in danger of. Dementia is a degenerative brain condition that dash memory, thinking, behavior. So condition is singular, so we'll go with the verb with S because it is a fact. Dementia affects memory, thinking, behavior, and the ability to perform everyday tasks. About 50 million people are diagnosed with the syndrome dash all over the world, but we don't have the world, so we cannot say all over, rather we can say worldwide. In Australia, dementia is the second leading cause of death with an estimated 250 people dash each day. So that is already what they have written. So we can say 250 people diagnosed each day. Endangered is not used for human beings. Endangered is used for animals. So for human beings, we say we are diagnosed with diseases. Any doubts, anybody? Good, Faiza. Any questions, please do ask. Causes, put you third one. Condition that causes memory. So it's a brain condition that causes memory. What does that mean? Causes thinking, causes behavior. It would have been, it's a brain condition that causes memory to be faded. Then we can say causes. Causes thinking to be disrupted. Yeah, causes memory loss. Then causes. But causes memory, a disease cannot cause memory. A disease cannot cause behavior, right? It can cause something negative. Higher in the first one, what else can we put in the first one? Worldwide. No, are we talking in the first one? We are not talking about like where coffee consumption. We said that it is related with brain volume, reduced brain volume. So it means like more coffee we drink, it affects our brain. Affect is a noun, the one with a. It's sorry. Affect, the one with a is a verb. The one with e is a noun. That's the difference between affect and effect. No, higher, because it's kind of a comparison, because they're saying that higher would be normal, and somebody's, if you are taking more than normal. So than is there, that's why it is higher, means than not written here. But the writing style, the writing perspective is to say that if you are taking more than normal, that is higher coffee, not high coffee. High would not be used with a dose. We say higher doses of something, higher intake of something. So higher in that sense, always the writing style is more than required. That is higher dose or higher intake of something. Okay, question number 4, 2 minutes for this. First one is not right. Monotony means like boredom, something like repetitiveness, obviously something which is just repeating and you are getting bored out of that. Monotonous, you won't want to yes, you won't want to reduce it, you will want to get yourself relieved of that, right? Please sing something interesting, not just lessen the boredness. Early societies evolved several means too, because several means that they tried a lot of ways. Why will they try a lot of ways? Just to lessen the boring things or to lessen the repetitiveness. They wanted to relieve the monotony of one person singing. A principal device is called antiphony, which dashed two groups that sang in alternation. So device is called antiphony, but then they have explained it in past tense. Sang, was, answered. So the explanation is in past. So we'll go with which involved. So what was there in this device? Involved two groups that sang in alternation, or a leader who sang and was answered by a group of singers. In the latter may be seen the origin of responsorial thinking, which continues today, and which may be the point of origin for dash types of musical phrase structures. For dash types means more than one types, different and several. We have two options. What is more academic? Different is general, several is more academic way of saying different. So number of types. So we'll go with several types of musical phrase structures. Polyphony was also anticipated in early musical performance. It appeared dash haphazard rather than intentional manifestation. It appeared, I filled it in the end, though I completed the other blanks. So the answer is it appeared through, because they were talking about by which method or how it appeared. So it appeared through haphazard rather than intentional, such as the singing of the same melody with the parts starting on different pitches or at dash times. So different pitches or at different times. Makes sense together. So we'll go different here and several in the third one. Universal times. What is universal time here, Rampreet? Different pitches, very narrow thing we are talking about. Universal is like something which is true in the universe, that is universal. We are saying that people singing in different pitches at different times, like one starting, like in the music you see one people start singing and the others start singing at a low pitch after 2 seconds, so that is different times. Got it? Any confusions? Several types. What else can we put in third one, Kamalveer ji? Which continues today. The different for last fifth one, we need different for the last one. No? What we will put at the last one if we'll put different in third? No. Relieve is like to get rid of something. Lesson is just to reduce, Sahil. So we don't want to, like the way they say that early societies evolved several means like several ways to get rid of this monotony of one person singing. So they started to experiment different ways um, uh, by which they can get something interesting in singing. Several times is like lot of times, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 times. Here you need to understand what the sentence is saying. The sentence is saying that singing the same melody with the parts starting on different pitches or at different times. Like, haven't you heard any song? Take any song for example. So sometimes the main singer, he or she starts, and then the background singers, they start in between within a difference of 2 seconds. So the same melody, but the different timings of starting on different pitches at which they sing the song. That is different pitches and different timings. Several will be like many times. And many will come with types there, that there were different types, many types of musical structures. Okay. Different times, not picture. a difference of 2 seconds, 3 seconds. So starting the same song, same line, but the difference of seconds. All right. And we have the last question, number 5. 2 minutes and we will wind up. Okay, should be done. Post your answers. rest of you. I don't think you have the choice in the exam to sit blank. You still have to take a chance on whatever you understand. Let's look at the answers. It says political philosophy is not merely unpractical speculation, though it may give rise to highly impractical myths. It is an important aspect of life. So we have adjective also, we have noun also. So what the only thing we can put is an adverb, like how much important it is. What we have in adverb, only one ly option. So we'll go with that. It is vitally important aspect of life, means really very important. And one that has had dashed results on political action. Decisive results is a collocation. Decisive results, decisive is generally an adjective that is used with results when you want to say strong concluding results, results um, which are so strong that they will be, that based on that you can take decisions. So those are called decisive results on political action. For the assumptions on which political life is conducted clearly, political life is conducted clearly, must dash what actually happens. So with must, it should be first form of verb. All the modals come with first form of verb. So for the assumptions on which political life is conducted must dash what. So the assumptions dash what actually happens. It will be the assumptions influence. The kind of assumptions you take influence what, like in political philosophy. The assumptions influence what actually happens. This was based on context. Political philosophy may thus be viewed as one of the most important intellectual disciplines, for it dash standards of judgment and defines constructive purposes. So what is the verb that we use with the noun standard? We always set standard. When we say set the standards high, this person has set the standards high. So set and standards go together. It had nothing to do with the context. Such consideration of the purposes for which power should be used is in a sense more urgent today than it was in earlier periods. For humankind has at its dash the power either to create a world in which modern technology can benefit or destroy itself. So with power, humankind has at its dash, it is has at its disposal. Disposal means it is, you have the power and you have the decision making authority. So disposal is also used with disposal income. Disposal income means, let's say you are earning $1,000, out of which 200 you give rent, 200 you buy grocery, and 200 you give your fees. 600 gone, 400 left, and that is called disposal income. Means you can spend it wherever you want, however you want. That is the meaning of the word disposal. So here they are talking the same thing in terms of power. Then humankind has its own disposal, means it's your hand. How do you want to use that power? Either you can create a wonderful world with that, or you can destroy everything by like we are doing by reckless using of the things that, or reckless using of the resources that we have. So that is, power is in our at our own disposal. The scope for political philosophy is dash great, the clarification of its purpose and limitations urgent, an aspect indeed of civilization survival. So this was the conclusion, that based on all these things we come to know that the scope is thus great. We have a great scope in political philosophy because we have discussed so many positives or the importance of political philosophy. So in the end we say it's very important, so it has a great scope. So it will be thus it has a great scope, right? Any doubts? Fifth one is disposal. Disposal means when something is at your discretion, means you have the power to use it however you want. So that is disposal. Money at your disposal or power at your disposal means you can use it however, whatever, whenever, in whichever way you want. That is disposal. Anybody else? Any questions? I think the only difficult part was the third one. You could have written decide in place of influence. Setting the standard was easy. Vitally important was easy. Decisive results is a collocation. And does, because it's a conclusion at the end. So if again your concepts, it was not based on context. One blank was based on context. Rest disposal was based on vocabulary, and rest four were completely based on your tense knowledge, grammar knowledge, collocations or something. Yes, thus can come in between a sentence, and you see here even they have used political philosophy may thus be viewed as. So it's completely correct to write thus in a running sentence. Okay. So these were all the questions that we had to do today. Those who do not have any doubts or confusions, yes, you are free to leave, and I will see you tomorrow at same time, 6:30 p.m. Please keep attending the classes, and please taking notes of whatever you don't know, whatever was new to you in the class. And when you're practicing, refer to those notes so that you become habitual of using them also. Only knowing them won't really help. The more you will practice them, the more you will get to know how to use, you will be able to manage your time. Thank you and good night. Take care, those who are going.